Yeah, make something that solves an urgent want or an urgent need in the market, and put that on your website. Make sure it's front and center. And then let's say they opt in, but obviously now that they're on your email list, they have to be able to open your emails for you to really talk to them, right? I mean, that's really the key. So, do you have any tips for improving those open rates, those click rates in your emails?
Well, the first thing I guess to say is the thing that counts more than anything else I found is your name. So of course we're going to talk about subject lines, etc., in a second, but do bear in mind that in most people's lives there are certain people whose emails they will open no matter what's in them. So I'll always obviously open emails from my wife, from my friends, from my family, and there is also a small select band of people who send me regular emails, like an email newsletter, that I always open straight away because I know it's going to be good. I just know. There's a guy called Richard Koch who wrote the 80-20 principle and helped found LEK Consulting from my kind of background. And he writes tremendous. Now, they're really long emails. They're much longer than I would normally recommend. He doesn't send them frequently enough. But when they arrive, they just are so filled with brilliance that I instantly click to open them. And you kind of want your email subscribers thinking the same thing when they get your email. So the trick to that is the freemium you gave away has to really deliver. It can't just have a great name and sound great. It has to really deliver on what it promises. So just as we said before, people are thinking, that is brilliant, I want more. So then, of course, they'll open your first email. Now, if your first email and your second email and your third email also give them great stuff, and it's fun and entertaining as well, then it will set the pattern that they'll always look to be opening your emails. You'll be inside that kind of little select band of people whose emails they always open. So that's the first thing. Establish a reputation early on for great emails. So people will, without even looking at what they are, they'll open them. Second thing, obviously, is the subject line. That's the thing that people look at most. Now nowadays, a lot of browsers you can see more than just the subject line. When you see your list of emails, you get the subject line and the first line of the email. So treat the first line of the email a bit like a second subject line. But when it comes to the subject line, I think the first thing to bear in mind is you've got to write to people about stuff they care about. And going back to what you were saying, John, earlier, you really have to get under their skin and understand what it is they really want. And those are the topics you have to write about. So it's always worthwhile drawing up an ideal client persona, digging beneath the kind of surface. Yeah, I want more money. Yeah, but why do they want more money? What is it? Is it they want more money because they want to retire, they want to look after their family, they want to grow their business, they want the trappings of wealth, whatever it is behind that initial desire, get behind that, because those are the things you want to be talking about that'll get them to open. Second thing then is how you encapsulate that in a subject line, and I quite like the formula that copywriter Gary Bencivenga came up with years and years ago, which is that interest, and this was for articles and advertising copy, works just as well in emails. Interest equals benefits times curiosity. So you understand what it is they want, and you make sure you mention that in the subject line of the email. But as Bencivenga pointed out, even if it's something they want, if they think they already know it, then they're going to pass on by, especially if they're in a hurry. So if you write, if you're showing people how to succeed with Hangouts, but they've already had 75 emails about success with Hangouts, then something like Hangout tips probably won't work because they think they've read them all. But 3 surprising new Hangout tips, or 3 Hangout tips I learned from my girlfriend, or whatever it is, adds a little bit of curiosity. Or the 7 top Hangout tips that are working today, kind of implication of newness. That'll work, and you get that from magazines. I always learned stuff like that from magazines like Cosmopolitan. I don't know if you've ever. It's a scary thing to do, but if you go on Google Images and you search for Cosmopolitan magazine covers, and you just look at the covers, you'll pick out a couple of things. One is they all look the same. Second thing is they are incredibly. They have an incredible understanding of their target market, the aspirations of that person who reads a Cosmopolitan magazine, who they want to look like. But always, top left-hand corner is the big headline of the main article. It may not be the main article in the magazine, but it's the one they want to attract people to buying it by. And in Cosmopolitan's case, 9 times out of 10, it's about sex. That's the benefit. But they don't just say sex tips, more sex tips every month, because eventually, even if you read, by the time you read a few Cosmopolitans, you must begin to think, hey, I kind of know those. So they use titles like 75 sex tips or 10 things guys crave in bed and stuff like that. And it kind of gets you thinking, 75? who knows 75? So you kind of open it just to see what on earth they are. It's a bit like those. You ever watch those TV shows where it's, you know, the 100 top children's toys or the 75 best sitcoms from the 70s, and even though the program is pretty awful, you watch it to the end just to see what number one was. So it's kind of that psychology going on. So it's the combination of curiosity and benefit really works.